What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we are going to continue our coverage over the dawn of DC. Yes, we are. Now, remember, when it comes to the dawn of DC, it's kind of like this new start, this new beginning for DC Comics after Dark Crisis. They're trying to do a fresh start for new readers to actually jump into comics without worrying about past books, but at the same time, try to bring back the old readers as well. Now, when it comes to the dawn of DC for Superman, we had covered the first storyline in the Superman comics that's all part of Dawn of DC. But now it's time for us to cover the second storyline. And the second one is all about Jimmy Olsen having a girlfriend. Yes, it is. Jimmy Olsen has a girlfriend now. And the question is, though, who is the girlfriend? But on top of that, why is the girlfriend of Jimmy Olsen is an old villain of Superman? That makes things even more interesting. So let's go ahead and jump into today's video, which covers Superman number 4 and number 5. Here we go. And so getting into today's video, we actually do pick up with Sylvan Smythe. Now, Sylvan Smythe is better known as the Silver Banshee. Now, originally, she was one of the many bad guys of Superman, but in the New 52, DC made her a good guy. Matter of fact, they made her a close friend of Supergirl. But thanks to DC Rebirth and everything after DC Rebirth, they made her a somewhat bad guy again. Now, with that being said, we do see her right now trying to wake up her boyfriend because he's going to be late for work. Unfortunately, he's not getting up fast enough. Now, she does hear a knock at the door. And so when she goes to the door, she comes to find out it's Dr. Graft. Now, Dr. Graft is actually one of the many new bad guys that we saw in our last video that's part of a group known as Secret Order of Mad Scientists. Now, this order is coming after Lex Luthor, but they're also attacking Metropolis as a way to get to Lex Luthor. Now, with that being said, you did have Silver Banshee try to use her powerful scream against Graft, but unfortunately, he does pull out his new tech that's holding different kinds of kryptonite. And so with these different kinds of kryptonite and their radiations, they have the ability to affect other metahumans in a very unique way. And so he was able to take away her powerful scream to kind of say, you are going to work for me, and if you try to disagree or try to use your powers against me after you had agreed to work for me, I'll kill everybody you love, like your boyfriend. And so then we actually pick up with Lex Luthor. Now, when we do, we actually see Lex Luthor right now in prison. And of course, because he's a bad guy. He committed so many crimes over the years. Now, with Lex Luthor being in prison, he's just reading a book, minding his business, but he does hear another prisoner kind of talking some smack. And so you have Lex Luthor feel like he has the right to shut that person up. And so what he does, he shoots a nut right into the person's mouth. Unfortunately, that person is allergic to that kind of nut. And so, of course, you have Lex Luthor get in trouble for that. Now, you do have Superman stop by, and he does give Lex Luthor a lecture because the Superman, he's like, if you're trying to show me you're a better person, if you're trying to show the world that you are a better person, then why did you do that? Now, for Lex Luthor, he's like, dude, I had no idea he was allergic to that kind of nut, which we know Lex Luthor actually did know. But you didn't have Lex say, no one cares what I do by myself. What they truly care about is what you and I are doing together as a team. Because we have to remember, Lex Luthor took LexCorp and turned it into SuperCorp. And SuperCorp is a way to show that Lex Luthor is trying to help Superman be a better hero, to protect the world better, or possibly travel across the universe and do other things across the universe, but once again, to help Superman be a better hero. And so this is Lex saying, yes, I understand you're mad at me, but honestly, people don't care for what I do do by myself. They care about what we do together as a team, our alliance. Now, you also have Superman say, but you're not holding up your part of the deal. I agreed to work with you, but you are supposed to give me information about the people who attacked Parasite. Because remember, this new order of mad scientists, they used Parasite in our last video. And of course, those scientists said they know Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor said he knows about them. And so it's Superman saying, you are supposed to share to me information about those people, because right now they could do some serious harm to the city. So honestly, what are you going to do here, Lex? And so you have Lex say, fine, I am going to share you a story about me. And so you have Lex actually tell Superman this story. Now, the story he does tell Superman is that when Lex first arrived in Metropolis, he felt like he should be a hero for Metropolis. He had to find a way to help Metropolis, and that way was to be a hero. Now, as soon as he arrived, he heard about the idea that homeless people were being kidnapped. And no one knew why. And so Lex actually looked into it. Like, why are homeless people are being kidnapped? And of course, they were being kidnapped by the secret order of mad scientists. They were going around just taking people and using them for their different kinds of experiments. And so it's Lex saying that that was when he had so many different confrontations with the secret order of scientists, because he was always trying to stop them. But every single time he got close enough, they would get away. But he did at least ruin their different operations across Metropolis. And so is Lex saying that Superman was not the first hero in Metropolis. It was actually Lex Luthor. He was the first. He was there trying to be a hero. And then Superman came in and basically took all the love away from Lex Luthor towards Superman. And so getting back into the present day, you have Superman tell Lex Luthor that he does not believe Lex Luthor at all. Because as Superman, if Lex Luthor was some kind of vigilante in the past, then why isn't there any kind of past reports about Lex Luthor being some kind of vigilante? Which means that Lex Luthor is lying. Now, you then have Superman say, if you're telling me the truth, Lex, then fine. Tell me the last location the secret order of mad scientists had used. Because if you have fought them so many times in different locations, including their last base, then you should be able to tell me where is their last base at. Because if you do, I can go there, look for clues, and then maybe those clues could lead us to where they're hiding out at right now. And so Lex does tell Superman, fine. Here it is. Go here, you'll find their old lab. He goes there, and you have Superman find some blueprints. Except these blueprints are to make a Phantom Zone projector. And this is huge, because now you're talking about the idea that the Order of Mad Scientists possibly have a way to open up a portal to the Phantom Zone. But while you have Superman looking around, Lex realized this is a trap. And then he realized, oh my gosh, they're going to send someone after Superman. But right when Lex tries to tell Superman, someone comes from behind and talks to Superman and say, hey, it's time for a battle. Now, you have Superman realize it is Silver Banshee. Now, at first, this is him trying to talk to her, because he knows that right now she's on parole, which means that she's trying to be a better person now. So let's try to chill out here. But then you have Lex tell Superman, no, man, there's no reason why she can chill out, because if the Order of Mad Scientists had experiment on Parasite, who knows what they have done to her? And of course, Lex was right, because you have her actually attack Superman. But then we jump over to Jimmy Olsen and Lois Lane. Now, when we do, it's right now just the two of them heading towards the Daily Planet, because again, they both work there. But while they're on their way to go to work, well, you have Jimmy Olsen talking about a character we actually saw in the earlier parts of Dawn of DC for Superman, and that character was the Marilyn Moonlight. And honestly, we're going to learn more about her later on in later books, it seems. But then you have Jimmy Olsen bring up his girlfriend. Now, Lois Lane, Clark Kent, they have no idea that Jimmy Olsen is actually dating Silver Banshee. They have no idea, but they're about to find out. Because that is the moment you have Superman and Silver Banshee bring their fight to the surface. And so they're fighting right now in the middle of Metropolis. But on top of that, they're fighting right next to Lois Lane and Jimmy Olsen. But while you have the two characters fighting against one another, you have Superman say, I have to get you back to Supercorp, to have the scientists run some experiments on you to figure out what the Order has done to you. Because remember, guys, when it comes to the Order of Mad Scientists, they use kryptonite poisoning in some kind of way to change the results of these different metahumans that have fought against Superman. And so it's Superman saying, we should take you back to my place, Supercorp, and see if we can help you out. But then you have the two characters continue to fight because Silver Banshee wants to keep fighting. But you can tell that honestly, she does not want to fight, but she's being forced to fight. And so this is Superman saying, okay, I have to take her down. But then you have Jimmy Olsen step in and say, no, you cannot take her down. And the reason why you cannot take her down, because I love her. And this is where Lois Lane and Superman find out that Jimmy Olsen is dating Silver Banshee. Now, the opening pages of Superman number 5 is really more of showing us how Silver Banshee and Jimmy Olsen actually got together, which to me, I like this. It's just two characters getting together. But for Jimmy Olsen, I really like this a lot for him because yes, in the past, we have seen him with so many different girlfriends. And yes, usually they don't work out. But I'm honestly cheering for Silver Banshee and Jimmy Olsen. But in the opening pages of Superman number 5, we do see how the two characters actually get together. And they do get together, of course, as we know. But then we see that when she was trying to get him out the door because once again he was running late to work at the Daily Planet, that was when she was confronted by the Order of Mad Scientists who told her, you are going to work for us or we're going to hurt the people you care for the most. And so the opening pages were kind of used as a way to kind of remind us how we got to this point in the story, but at the same time showing us the early days of Jimmy Olsen and Silver Banshee's relationship. And so getting back to the present day, we actually do see everybody so shocked in what Jimmy Olsen said earlier, that he was in love with Silver Banshee because he never told her that he loved her. And so when she heard that, she was kind of like, wait a second. Man, you love me? Oh, this is great. But then she says, I love you. But the way she tells him that she loves him is because when the Order of Mad Scientists had kidnapped her and forced her to come after Superman after they had infected her with the kryptonite poison, well, she said, listen, they told me they were going to go after the people I love. And I love you, Jimmy Olsen, and I could not allow them to come after you. And so that is how Jimmy Olsen and Silver Banshee kind of tell each other that they love each other. But again, she has to continue to fight against Superman because if she doesn't, they might come after Jimmy Olsen down the road. But the problem is, though, they gave her an upgrade, and that upgrade was kind of connecting her screen to the Phantom Zone projector. And so she's able to release all these kind of Phantom Zone constructs to just go around and cause damage all over the place and kind of keep Superman away from her. And so the question is right now, how can Superman actually defeat her if he can get through her Phantom Zone constructs? And so that is the moment you do have Supercorp members arrive. Now remember, Supercorp is just the old company that Lex Luthor used to own, better known as LexCorp, but he gave it over to Superman, and it's now called Supercorp. But either way, the members of Supercorp are supposed to help Superman be a better hero, or help him protect Metropolis or the entire planet. But with that being said, you actually have members of Supercorp like Mercy arrive out of nowhere with a brand new gun that could stop Silver Banshee. And for Superman, that is not okay. Because how in the world were they able to create a gun so fast for a brand new problem that only happened just literally moments ago? And so for Superman, he's kind of like, as time goes on, I'm starting to believe that Lex Luthor is up to something. Because how in the world did Lex Luthor tell you guys to build a weapon like this for this kind of situation just like that? And so you have Superman destroy the cannon and try to say, I'm going to find a different way to help out Silver Banshee. And so then you have Silver Banshee actually fly away. Now, as she is flying away, you do have Superman wanting to follow her. Now, Jimmy Olsen wants to go with him because that's the woman he loves. And so he says, please take me with you so I'll be able to actually talk to her. Because if I'm able to talk to her, then maybe I'll be able to convince her to calm down. And so you have Superman say, fine, you may come with me. He gives Jimmy a jetpack, they fly in the sky, and you have Jimmy being able to actually talk to Silver Banshee. And once he does, he tells her, listen, I know what I signed up for. I know the dangers of being with you. But the thing is, I don't care. Because I love you. They may come after me to get to you. They may hurt you to get to me. But either way, it's you and me, and we're going to stay together forever. And so she actually calms down. But once she does come down, you do have Superman go up in the sky and say, listen, Lex told me the battery in the gun that they had made to kind of stop you should be just good enough to actually help you. And so you have Superman use the battery, but Silver Banshee has to scream so loud like she never has before to kind of get rid of the infection in her body. And so all those different Phantom Zone constructs go inside the actual Phantom Zone gun battery, and the day is saved. Silver Banshee is back to normal. Now, you do have Superman actually go back to the old laboratory that used to belong to the Order of Mad Scientists. And when he does get confronted by the Order of Mad Scientists. Now, it's not like they're actually there. It's really more of kind of like a projection. Either way, it's them telling Superman they love watching him be a hero. They love watching him just fly around town and try to deal with all their different problems. But that is when you have the Order of the Scientists tell Superman, hey man, listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, you think we're the bad guys, but how many secrets are Lex Luthor actually hiding, like Project Chained? And that's a big question right there. What is Project Chained? But you didn't have the Order of Mad Scientists hang up the call, and Superman is left to wonder, what is Project Chained? But then we actually pick up with Superman and Lois Lane. Now, right now, you have Superman and Lois Lane going on a date. Actually, they're going on a double date. But before they get to the location of their double date, you have Superman and Lois Lane actually talk about the different problems that Superman has right now. For example, he did lose his super hearing. And the reason why, because when he was helping out Silver Banshee, she had to scream so loud like she never did before, it actually hurt his ears. And so right now, he lost his super hearing temporarily. But he didn't say like he really wonders what's going on with Lex Luthor, because he feels like Lex Luthor is actually hiding something. Lex Luthor is hiding some kind of big secret. And the question is though, what is that big secret? But while you have the two characters actually talking to one another, well, someone is actually watching them as well. And we see that it is Marilyn Moonlight, that right now she's actually watching Superman and Lois. But the question is though, why is she watching them for? Either way, we do see that Superman and Lois are able to arrive at the location of where their double date is going to be at, and they're having a double date with Jimmy Olsen and Silver Banshee, and they're there right now to watch her live show. And so it's kind of cool to see Clark Kent and Jimmy Olsen be on a double date with each other. It's kind of cool. But either way, yeah, that wraps up the plot line for Superman. But we're not done yet, because we got to check up on Lex Luthor. And the reason why, because while you have Superman and Jimmy Olsen, Lois Lane, and Silver Banshee having a good old time, Lex Luthor is in jail. But as you have the guards kind of transporting him to a different part of the prison, they just disappear. And apparently he goes somewhere where he is set up. He's attacked by a bunch of other prisoners. And he does call out for help. But the problem is, though, Superman can't hear him. Because remember, Superman lost his super hearing. And so because he lost his super hearing and you have Lex Luthor calling out for help, Lex is technically screwed. He gets stabbed over and over again and he's left on the ground bleeding out. And so it's like, oh my gosh, will Lex Luthor actually survive this? We know he will. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, I'll see y'all next time. Later.